Hello and welcome back. My name is Tomitladi, and we are back with another video number 10, where we're gonna finish off this topic of logging. Video number 8, we did logging in web, where we talked about using Sentry as a platform. I'm gonna continue, but I'm gonna switch gears to a different framework or target, which is .NET Maui. How do we log in .NET Maui using Sentry? Stay tuned for some good stuff. So never mind what you see here. It's something I'm working on. This new feature, it's quite interesting. So what is the first thing that you need to do? So this is my .NET Maui covered issue underscore mobile, right? So if we go to dependencies, and then we go to packages, and you will see that there's a Sentry.Maui version 4.12.0, right? So now that is the package that you need to have installed. Then what is the next thing that you need to do? So if you go to global usings, remember there's a video we covered about global usings. Let's see if we can track a Sentry. Sentry. And where is Sentry now? Let's see. I see Sync Fusion. Interesting. System Sync Fusion, Newton Soft. For some reason, I don't see Sentry here. Let's see if we can track it. Let's go to Maui program class. We do initialize a Sentry plugin, right? So if we say use a Sentry, okay, uses Sentry and passing the options. One of them is the DNS, the same way that we did with the .NET Core in web. So it's the same way that we need to pass in the DNS so that it sends correctly to the platform on Sentry. And speaking of the platform on Sentry, if we go to now the browser, you will see that I have a Sentry running, and on the project for web, cover the issue for web, there are no issues. But if we switch gears now to cover the issue mobile, as you can see, there are a couple of outstanding issues that still need to go through. Do you understand? Right, we'll come back to this platform. Going back to Visual Studio Code, so we are done initializing, and one of the things that I've been curious about is this method of mine. Before I talk about this method, why this method is here, previously before Sentry, I was using App Center. So App Center, if you go to appcenter.ms, you see that it's a great platform. Unfortunately, it's scheduled for retirement early next year. So I moved away from this, particularly when it comes to crashes and analytics. But I'm still here when it comes to build and deployment. So I'm still migrating. So I was using this platform prior to get analytics, and I would say it's rich, in a sense, more than Sentry, because there's a method here that's called Sentry Analytics. In App Center, it used to be called App Center Analytics before I moved it from App Center to Sentry. One of the things I was doing that I needed, that's very important, was this private method, right? Private static void. I would get a device model of the current device that the end user is using. I would get the manufacturer of that device, and I would get the device name, and then I would just submit that capture message. So this one is capturing the message, right? The device info, the model, manufacturer, and the name. It's very important to get the idea of what the end users are using when they are interacting with my app. Do you understand? This is very important. So with the App Center, that like the messages were coming in interesting, and I was able to group them and say this device has many hits or many count, 100 times this device has made use of my app in the last 7 days. That's the kind of idea, right? However, With the Sentry, I haven't seen the logs specifically for this, or am I looking at the right stuff? Um, because I was looking at this is the project, right? And these are the issues. But I haven't looked at, you see, it says Sentry SDK, and this comes from Sentry class. Somehow there is a Sentry on the global usings. I'm not sure if I'm looking correctly, but there is a Sentry. It's fine. I don't see it. In fact, let's search Sentry global usings. There we go. And here it is. Sorry. You see global using Sentry, right? Good. So that's where it is. Now, Sentry.capture message. This one just captures the message, right? Then that's it. Maybe I should change the Sentry level, because currently by default it's info. Maybe I should do something about it because I don't get the analytics. Right, I'll do a follow-up. So, but how do we make it the most out of this? If we go to the views, content pages, if we go to setup page, the code behind, there's something I'm doing. Remember, we've been here before. Check version updates. When you click the button that says continue, this method will get called, right? Try to check if there's a new version available. For whatever reason, if we cannot, then I'm gonna go to catch block. So the catch block, I'm capturing general exception. I'll talk about line 193 in a second, but line 195, that's why I use a Sentry, the capture exception, the general exception, whatever exception is, I need to capture everything about it. Then there are a couple of things I'm doing. So let's start with the first thing I'm doing. You know, when there is an exception, I learned that I can access this API, which is to cause a device to vibrate. There's something about a device that vibrates. It catches the end user's attention. If the phone is on the table or somewhere, but not in the end user's hands, physical hands, at least it will cause some sort of vibration just to get the end user's attention. If it's in their hands, which is great, you understand, they will get to see what's currently happening. That's the first thing. The second thing, we capture the exception. Then the third thing, I show a friendly message. Remember, we cause the device to vibrate. Then when I show the friendly message, I'll probably make a video about it. There's a show snack bar, right? How I went about it. But what I'm passing here, it's a text string, right? That says, we could not check for new updates. Please try again later, right? And then I instantly redirect the user to a page called no connection page. Because remember, you have this idea, you have this, ambition, this goal of building an app, right? So I'm giving you the tools, showing you how I went with the tools in my current system that I'm still busy with, right? So you need to find a way to understand what's going on in your application that you're building for your end users. So one way is to track the exceptions. Another way is to show a friendly message of whatever happened, but do not make a mistake exposing this exception to the end user. There are many apps. My phone has quite a lot of apps. I like to test the apps, and one of them I like to test the apps when I do have the connection and when I don't have the connection, because I like to see, will it be friendly to me and what kind of a message? Trust me, some developers that are building the apps I've seen so far, they're exposing the exception, like they're giving away critical information. Do not expose that information. Right, so you just give it a friendly message that says we could not check. Remember, I said for any reason. It might be that I'm trying to communicate with the cache, and then the key somehow is incorrect or something, or maybe the cache doesn't exist, right? And that can cause an exception because I'm inside the try. I may be attempting to talk to the API, the server doesn't exist or there's no connection to it, right? I may be trying to do something here, replace or remove, or I will not be able to get the information about the app, right? Or something that might cause an exception to happen, right? So that's the last thing I do, which is to navigate to a friendly page, and that page has information already. You show the message, you cause the phone to vibrate, and you navigate it to the page so that it shows a friendly message. Does it make sense? Good. And then there's something else I'm doing, which is I'm causing the busy indicator. I'll make a video about the busy indicator because this plays a major role in making sure that the experience of an end user, it's great. Good. So this is one place. Let's go to another place. For that, let's go to the view models, customers, home view model. So home view model has a constructor, right? Well, in fact, I'm calling this thing from the code behind, but I know this gets to be executed, right? So when this guy gets to be executed, it does a whole lot of things, but I'm really not interested in them. I'm interested in the exception because this is the home page, and then the home page, I'm gonna make a video about this. I'm excited about this because I learned something that was cool. Good. But say there's an exception, general one. The collection view, I'm not gonna show it, I'm gonna hide it, and I'm gonna show the one that says there's no data. And then I'm gonna greet the end user because there's something that I need on the page when this collection view data shows. And then show busy indicator for news feed, which is the home page, I'm gonna say false, do not show, right? And then I'm gonna cause again the device to vibrate, right? And by the way, I'm sure you're wondering about the duration of the vibration. It's 4 seconds. The type is of double. It's 4 seconds, which is 4,000 in double, right? So for 4 seconds. And then if the exception dot message contains 401 or the exception contains unauthorized. So there are times, remember, the end user can say, remember my credentials. But here we're working with authenticating and authorizing the end user when they need to communicate with the web API. So meaning that the access token may expire based on however long I've said on the web API. So if the exception is as a result of 401 or unauthorized, so I'm doing a couple of things. Firstly, make sure that the user, it doesn't matter if they want to stay logged in. Do not allow them to stay logged in. Access token, make sure that it's null. Clear it, and then clear the entire cache, And then, because we made a video about caching, right? And then navigate it to a login page, right? But if the exception is not a result of a 401 or unauthorized, then use a Sentry to capture that exception only if it's not 401 or unauthorized. Then when I'm done, I'm saying the error occurred, please try again. Again, I am not exposing any critical information. Then I stop the busy indicator and I enable and show controls. It's a helper method that I'm doing. So I want to show you how also I'm going about capturing the exception, but how I'm also using Sentry to do that. So finally, on the dashboard, there are a couple of exceptions. I'm still busy. See, this I haven't opened because I'm gonna study what is it that required under 13. But there's one, which is this one here. System.net.http requires exception, right? This one, it says response status code does not indicate success, which is 401 unauthorized. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to minimize the number of the exception to be captured by Sentry if it's a 401 or unauthorized. So this gives you an example, because there are a number of times when the access token has expired. You cannot communicate with my web API if your access token has expired, meaning that I'm gonna need you to re-log in again, which is the standard best practices, right? It will show you this is what's in release and what version was it, which is something that's very, very important. It will show the device family, this is Samsung, the environment, it was in production, and the level was an error, right? And obviously it will show that message. Then the full stack trace that is, and it will show what triggered this thing. It's when I was trying to get the all collections, right? And then it shows how this thing started, right? It started with the home page. All right, this is where it started. App shell appearing, and then page appearing, which is the app shell, and then we are navigating to a setup page, and then we have navigated to the setup page, and then the window was created, the window was activated. And there's something else interesting: unable to load font, open sans from asset. I do not have this font. I don't know why it's registered. And then there's a layout changes, and I click the button. Okay, I need to investigate this. This is very important. I don't have this font on the page called setup, so I'm not sure where I've used that font. I need to investigate, because if now you say unable to load the font, it's a problematic. Another thing is, these are my fonts. These are the only fonts I have that are registered on the system. So either way, I need to find a way to deal with font sans regular, right? And then when I click the button, when it's pressed and then it's been released and it's clicked, it's gonna navigate it to startup, right? It's gonna disappear, setup page is gonna disappear, and then page disappearing from navigation, and page appearing, which is startup, the next page. And then I'm gonna navigate it, or it tells me that I navigate from setup to startup, and the layout changes, which is the page changes, and then that button pressed and released, right? I'm gonna go to home page, and then the startup is gonna disappear, page is appearing. I clicked, and when I clicked it, that's where now there's, right, and then it shows it. So when it comes to Sentry, it's good. Again, when it comes to this breadcrumbs, I'm still understanding in detail how this information is useful, such as the font. I don't want to see this again when I understand what's going on. I don't want to see this, but this I understand, because that's how it worked. Listen, I hope you found this video helpful. It's my system. I went about it on my system. If you have any question, if you saw something, the comment section is a place where you and I, we can interact, and I'll be sure to further explain, right? If there's a very first time watching this video, consider liking the video and subscribing for more videos. Like I said, there's lots of videos I need to make. Sounds good? Until next time.